Hey there guys, Travis Cook here of Learning How to Think. And it's the 21st of September 2020, and it appears we are at a critical moment in a coronavirus situation here in the UK. Not so much because I think, second wave's just about ahead and it's going to be really, really bad, like lots of people are going to die, if they even did die the first time of COVID, not with COVID, if we can believe the official statistics. But the thing is, the government is, supposedly there was a meeting between Boris and Chris Whitty and Patrick, I can't remember his second name, but these people are now due to give a message to the UK public at 11 a.m. this morning. And by the time I upload this video, it may have already happened. But essentially, they're supposed to announce what they're going to be doing for the next phase of coronavirus management. And I don't know if they're going to try and impose more lockdowns. That's not been confirmed yet. But I think it'll be really, really dumb. Maybe they're just going to give an update on the situation. Because if they do, a second lockdown will really destroy the economy. It will be, so there'll be a lot of people who won't have anything to lose at that point. And it's going to be civil unrest. Unless they have been, they're part of the agenda. They're part of the New World Order, or they've been bribed or blackmailed or whatever. I know. Chris Whitty was working back in 2008. I was just researching a little bit about him, and he just happened to be leading this malaria research whilst Bill and Melinda Gates kindly, at the love of their heart, because they're such generous, kind, loving people, donated $40 million to the research that he was doing. So how much of that he actually got, I don't know, but a bit of a coincidence, a little bit strange. Although there are the claims out there that he got given $40 million, but it wasn't, from what I can gather. It was just where he was working, the project he was working on got the grant, and maybe he pocketed a bit. I don't know, I can't confirm that. But I just thought I'd throw that in there because people are saying he's a Gates shill, and he probably is. I mean, it would make perfect sense if he is. But there's a lot of backlash coming from not just the people, but the very government, that within the government, because we're essentially with the Coronavirus Act 2020, there's a small part of the government that are just fucking throwing out policies left, right and centre, and it's not going through the normal legislative process. So there are a lot of MPs that are starting to get really annoyed about this, which is good. So hopefully they can knock some sense into this Sage and Boris and these medical professional people, because second lockdown would be a disaster. And even the BBC's it's got an article saying, "Is it time we learned to live with the virus?" Maybe the BBC is starting to get some. There was, the management changes recently, so maybe that's starting to take a bit of impact. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of people who are just nobody wants a second lockdown. Nobody I speak to wants a second lockdown. Nobody I see online in the comments section wants a second lockdown. Businesses don't want a second lockdown. Most of the government, apparently, from what I can see now, doesn't want a second lockdown. It's literally just this small, tiny group of people that are doing these measures in the Coronavirus Act 2020, just throwing out these measures without any further, consolidation or consulting with the rest of the government, so they can pass a law in 3 hours. And it can take how long to change something sometimes. So I'm very interested to see what this announcement's gonna be. Like I said, it would probably already have happened by the time this video is out, and we may already know what's going down. Depends on my internet speed. But I was watching a nice segment from the Talk Radio with Dr. Mike Yeadon, who was saying, at most, we're in a second ripple. He doesn't believe that there is a second wave like the first wave, and I would agree, because if you just look at the number of infections compared to the number of deaths, there is no one else is dying. Nobody's dying. It's tiny. A fraction of the population is dying. And when you look at the graphs, the first wave we had, and this is if we can believe the statistics, which are almost certainly false, but even with that, right, when the infection started to go up the first time, the deaths went up pretty close to it, and you can see very clearly on the graph. Now this time, cases have gone through the roof, but nobody's dying. Death rates have barely increased at all. And then there's this talk about the hospital admission rate going up. Well, that happens every single fucking year as we change the seasons. There's nothing new about that. So I don't know why that would surprise people. But this is just a manipulation happening. But I'm quite excited, actually. I feel it's just getting to the point where it's so many people are going to be waking up to this. So many people are going to be like, what the fuck? And hopefully more people resist, because it's like, I think a part of what's going on as well, because there is this big protest happening on the weekend, this Saturday, that there was talks, we might have to lock down London. How convenient. But I don't think they'll get away with it. I don't think they can, but who knows? By the time this video out, they may have already done it. But then will the people comply is the next question. Because, yeah, I mean, the compliance is really the issue here. How far will people comply? But I've seen lots of great pictures of people, mainly young people, all together, not giving a fuck, just fuck the rule of six, enjoying their lives like they should, as young people should, and just totally ignoring and it's like, people are like, I've seen this thrown around a few times over social media yesterday, so much so that I actually wrote a response and copied it, and had it ready for copy and pasting at hand, because it was such a common thing, it's like this program that's been put out there to the masses, and it's like, well, only if you had obeyed the rules even more than you did, it's your fault, you didn't give up enough of your rights, and now the globalists are coming to take more. If only you had given up your rights in the first place, then we wouldn't need a second lockdown. This is what it's like. So, you didn't follow the government's, you resisted the tyrannical government, so it's your fault we're going in a second lockdown. Wait, hang on a minute. Hang on a moment. Is nobody looking at the fact it's the fucking government who's putting us in the lockdown? Like, is nobody looking at that? Like, if the government wasn't making these threats about putting people into lockdown and trying to actually do it and forcing this legislation, then we wouldn't be in lockdown, folks. Can you see what I'm getting at with this angle? It's not the fucking people who just want to live and be free. It's the fucking government. And it's not even all of the government. In fact, it's a tiny part of the government. They've gone mad. They've gone absolutely insane. Or they're doing it on purpose because they've been bribed or blackmailed. Or they are in on the New World Order globalist agenda in some way, shape or form. So this is all part of it. Or they're just stupid. I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe it's a combination of all of them. So I'm really sort of putting out there my reality creation abilities that we don't go in a second lockdown unless the condition that we need it to wake the people up. That's the only thing. When I did my prayer, I was asking for the best of this for this country and focusing a lot on this country right now. Not to forget the rest of the world, but I'm here right now, so let's focus here. I was just asking, I don't want to lock down. No one wants to lock down. So unless we need it to wake the people up, so in the long run we will have an awakened population, and all this will seem like some ridiculous thing in the past that sort of just happened, that had to happen to shake us up and wake us up. And yeah, so I was like, the most amount of awakening for the least amount of suffering. And if it's not actually necessary, if it's not beneficial for the country in the long term to have this lockdown because it won't wake enough people up and compared to the amount of suffering it would cause, then fuck it off. And I did some reality creation, and again, talking to people about it and doing stuff like this, making this video. I do everything I can, and then, that's all anyone can do, right? So, so I'm quite curious to see how the announcement goes, and supposedly Boris is going to do some more talking tomorrow, but I'll keep my eye on it, and I'm sure you guys will be, and maybe I'll make another video later in the day once we have this new information, but I just thought I'd get it out there this morning, because I'm, seeing a few things here and there, and just thought I'd put in my vote to the world saying, I don't want to lock down, I don't want to be locked down again, do you? Nah, fuck that. So let's just keep the pressure on, keep being observant, keep observing these politicians, see what they're going to do, and just scrutinize everything they do. Like, they got a laser pointed on them. And, let's see what happens this weekend, huh? Could be a big one. Until next time, I'll see ya.